Hello friends and welcome to Pendulum Edu. Today we'll be discussing daily current affairs of 21 July 2020. So guys, quickly join this session. We are about to start and also try to add more and more people to the session. And those who have not subscribed to our channel Pendulum Edu, please subscribe it and also press the bell icon to receive notification. And also you can join us on our Telegram channel where you will find study material for your preparation. Now let's see what are the news for today. First news is UAE Mars Mission Hope or Amal. The other name for this mission is Amal. Probe. It has been launched from Tanegashima Space Center in Japan. And this Hope probe is launched by H2A rocket from the Space Center in Japan. And this is the Mars mission of UAE. The Hope probe spacecraft, it is expected to reach the red planet, that is Mars, by February 2021, which will coincide with the 50th anniversary of the formation of UAE, that is United Arab Emirates. It is the first interplanetary landmark mission in the Arab world, and with this, UAE will overtake all Middle East countries in the field of space and technology. So this is one of the important mission of UAE, which is the mission Hope, and now it has been finally launched. Last week its launch was delayed due to the weather issues, but now finally this has been launched. It has been launched from Tanegashima Space Center, which is in Japan. Now let's see a question related to the news. Recently, which country has launched the first interplanetary landmark Mars mission of Arab world? Pakistan, Iran, Kuwait and UAE. Quickly comment the correct answer. Which country has launched the first interplanetary landmark Mars mission of Arab world? The correct answer will be option D, that is UAE. Moving forward, the next news is Income Tax Department. It has launched e-campaign on voluntary compliance of income tax for the convenience of taxpayers. And this e-campaign, it will last for 11 days. And why this e-campaign is being launched? So as to make taxpayers validate their tax and financial transaction information online, which is available with the IT department, and promote voluntary compliance. The campaign, it will focus on those taxpayers who either did not file tax returns or have discrepancies for the financial year 2018 and 19. Under this e-campaign, taxpayers will be able to get the details of their high-value transaction information on the designated portal, and for this there is no need to visit any income tax office, as the feedback has to be submitted online only. The last date of filling is 31st July 2020, along with the revising the income tax return for assessment year 2019 and 20. So this is a good initiative of Income Tax Department. This e-campaign, it will promote voluntary compliance of income tax. Moving to the next one, NABL has authorized CPET Bhubaneswar for testing and certification of PPE kit. So recently, the National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories, it has authorized the Central Institute of Petrochemical Engineering and Technology, which is CPET Bhubaneswar, for testing and certification of PPE kits, that is personal protective equipment kits. In the figure you can see the personal protective equipment kits or PPE kits. It includes gloves, medical dress, then face shield. Also it includes goggles. It includes also a 3-layered mask as per the international standards. Okay, so these are the major components of PPE kits. After developing the testing facility for PPE kit, CPET IPT Center of Bhubaneswar, it has applied for accreditation to NABL, and also the other centers of CPET, they have also applied for accreditation under the process. So now, after the accreditation of NABL, now CPET Bhubaneswar will be able to test and certify the PPE kits that have been manufactured. Also, for CPET, this is a significant achievement against the COVID-19 pandemic and another step towards a self-reliant India. So CPET has been in use. So this is important institute. So it is an apex level premium institute in India, and it works under the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. So this institute is important for you. Talking about NABL, that is National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories. It is a constituent body of board of the Quality Council of India, This was formed in 1988 and it is headquartered in Gurugram, Haryana. So a question can be asked that where are the headquarters of NABL located? So they are located in Gurugram, Haryana. Moving forward to the question part, NABL has recently authorized CPET Bhubaneswar for testing and certification of personal protective equipment PPE kit. Under which ministry does it work? Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizers, Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Earth Sciences and Ministry of Home Affairs. Quickly comment the correct answer. The correct answer will be option A, that is Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizers. Moving forward, Union Minister of Environment Prakash Javadekar described the Kurma mobile app as a unique tool. So recently, Union Minister of Environment and Information and Broadcasting Prakash Javadekar, he has described the Kurma mobile app as a unique tool which will help in tracking and reporting of Indian turtles. So this Kurma mobile app, which this has been developed by the Indian Turtle Conservation Action Network, that is ITCAN, in collaboration with the Turtle Surveillance Alliance India and the Wildlife Conservation Society of India. This mobile app, it was launched on 23rd May 2020 on the occasion of World Turtle Day. So this is important for you that every year on 23rd May, World Turtle Day is celebrated, and on this day, a mobile app named Kurma was launched, which was developed by ITCAN in collaboration with Turtle Surveillance Alliance India and the Wildlife Conservation Society of India. This app, it will provide the database to identify particular species and also the location of nearest rescue center for turtles. The objective of this initiative is to conserve turtles and tortoises. So, if a question is asked that what is the purpose of this Kurma mobile app, so its main aim is to conserve turtles and tortoises. Now let's see the question related to the news. The Kurma mobile app is a unique tool for the conservation of which animal? It is very easy. Indian dolphin, Indian turtles, Indian gores and Indian tiger. Quickly comment what will be the correct answer. The Kurma mobile app will conserve which animal? The correct answer is option B, that is Indian turtles. Moving forward, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has paid homage to freedom fighter Mangal Pandey on his birth anniversary. So recently, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah, he paid homage to freedom fighter Mangal Pandey on his birth anniversary, that is on 19th July. As Mangal Pandey was born on 19th July 1827 in Nagwa, Uttar Pradesh, in a Brahmin family, and he joined the Bengal army in 1849. In March 1857, Pandey was a private soldier in the 5th Company of the 34th Bengal Native Infantry. He was instrumental in the events preceding the outbreak of the Indian Rebellion of 1857, also known as the First War of Independence. You would have seen the movie Mangal Pandey, in which Amir Khan played the role of Mangal Pandey. So you can relate with that, the story, if you have seen. He was hanged on 8 April 1857, and in 1984 the government of India issued a postage stamp to remember him. So this was all about Mangal Pandey. Let's see a question related to this news. Mangal Pandey was a private soldier of a British company in which a native infantry, 15th Madras Native Infantry, 34th Bengal Native Infantry, 24th Punjab Native Infantry and 14th Bengal Native Infantry. So what will be the correct answer for this? He was a private soldier of a British company in which Native Infantry? The correct answer is option B, that is 34th Bengal Native Infantry. Moving forward to the next news. The famous mathematician C.S. Seshadri, he died in Chennai. He was only 88 years old and he had made pioneering contributions in the field of algebraic geometry. He was one of the leading Indian mathematicians in the post-independence era. He was born on 29 January 1932 in Kanchipuram, Tamil Nadu. He was the founder and director of the Chennai Mathematical Institute and he was awarded the Padma Bhushan by the government of India. So he was a very famous mathematician and he recently died due to health issues. Now let's see a question related to the news. Recently, C.S. Seshadri, he died in Chennai. He was a famous painter, mathematician, politician or journalist. So what will be the correct answer for this? C.S. Sheshadri, he was a famous painter, mathematician, politician or journalist? The correct answer is option B, that is mathematician. Moving forward, entry of devotees from outside the state into the Mahakal temple complex in Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh is prohibited. So, the devotees who are coming from outside of the state into the Mahakal temple to visit this Mahakal temple complex which is in Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh, so their entry has been prohibited due to increasing number of cases of COVID-19 in Madhya Pradesh. This Mahakal temple, as you can see in the figure, it is one of the 12 Jyotirlingas of Lord Shiva, and millions of devotees from different parts of the countries, they come to the temple to worship Lord Mahakal in the holy month of Sawan. Now let's see a question related to the news. In art and culture section, questions from temples are asked. So there can be questions related to some statements or there can be direct question. So which of the following statement is true? You have to tell. Mahakal temple complex is located in Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh. Mahakal temple complex is one of the 12 Jyotirlingas of Lord Shiva. One only, two only, both 1 and 2 and none of the above. So what will be the correct answer for this? Option C is the correct answer because both statements are true. A question can be asked directly that where is Mahakal temple complex located? Then the correct answer will be Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh. Moving forward, the next news is approval for purchase of 3000 metric ton of sugar from NAFED to Food Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs Department in Jammu and Kashmir. So recently a meeting was held in which Lieutenant Governor of Jammu Kashmir participated, and the Department of Food Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs, it approved the purchase of 3000 metric tons of sugar from NAFED, that is National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation of India Limited. So now tell me, who is the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir? The first Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir. What is the name of that Lieutenant Governor? G.C. Murmu. He is the first Lieutenant Governor and the current Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir. As per the approval, the department will buy 2800 metric ton of sugar per year under Jammu and Kashmir Special Sugar Scheme, which will be distributed to 2,33,429 beneficiary families and relief migrants of Antyodaya Ann Yojana. Under the Special Sugar Scheme, the Government of India will provide 1 kg of sugar to Antyodaya Ann Yojana ration card holder through the public distribution system at the subsidized rate of rupees 13.50 per kg from January 2020. So this is the aim of Special Sugar Scheme. And this Antyodaya Ann Yojana, it is a Government of India sponsored scheme to provide highly subsidized food to millions of poor families. The scheme was launched on 25 December 2000 and it is run by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. So this is important, Antyodaya Ann Yojana and also Special Sugar Scheme. Now let's see a question related to the news. Antyodaya Ann Yojana was launched in which year? 2000, 2005, 2008 and 2010. Quickly comment what will be the correct answer for this. The correct answer will be option A, that is 2000. Moving forward, Indian Business Council, it will organize the India Ideas Summit on 22nd July 2020, and in this Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will deliver the keynote address. Also our Foreign Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, he will also address this summit, and the following points will be discussed between the leaders of the business and the government in this India Ideas Summit: US-India partnership and globalization, trends shaping trade and investment, and future of works in the COVID-19 era and beyond. So these are the major points that will be discussed during the meeting of during this India Ideas Summit. India Ideas Summit of the US-India Business Council, it is an annual event, and this year India will host this India Ideas Summit, and this year it is the 45th edition of this summit, that is in the year 2020. This is the 45th edition of India Ideas Summit, which will be organized by India Business Council. Now let's see a question related to the news. Which edition of the US-India Business Council's India Idea Summit is being held on July 21-22 this year? 50th, 40th, 45th and 65th. What will be the correct answer for this? Quickly comment. Keep commenting the correct answers, guys. Also press the like button. The correct answer is option C, that is 45th. Moving forward, next news is China has surpassed its 1960 claims on LAC. So recently China has now claimed more area, more territorial claims have been made by China on LAC, that is line of actual control. So this line of actual control, it is a boundary between India and China which was agreed, and now China has increased its claim. It has made more territorial claims in Pangong Tso Lake and Galwan Valley than its former claims. So you can see in the figure, the blue line represent the claim made by China in 1960 and the orange line represent the claim made by China now, the current claim of China. On the northern shore of Pangong Tso, the PLA troops reached Finger 4 and prevented India from crossing Finger 4. So this is the Pangong Lake, you can see, and on the northern side of this northern shore of this Pangong Lake, you can see there are fingers that have been defined. So these fingers are basically the mountain spurs which are situated on the bank, and from west to east, that is from west to east, the numbers are given. That is from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The numbers are given, and this is the Finger 4 and this is Finger 8. So China, initial claim of China was that LAC is on Finger 8, and now it is claiming that the LAC is on Finger 4. And also the troops of China, they entered till Finger 4, and now they are claiming that India cannot cross this Finger 4 because this is the line of actual control. And also India claims that line of actual control is on Finger 8 as per the agreement which was after the discussion which was finalized between India and China during 1960. Also, China first built a road to Finger 4 in 1999 and dominated Finger 4. But for the first time since May, India was cut off completely from accessing LAC at Finger 8. So, in 1999, China built the road till Finger 4, and it has asked India not to cross this border, not to cross Finger 4 to reach Finger 8, because now it is claiming that Finger 4 is the actual LAC. In 1960, after 3 rounds of negotiation, the Galwan River was bordered on longitude 78 degree 30 minute east and latitude 34 degree 46 minute north. So you can see the location of Galwan Valley. This is the location of Galwan Valley, which was decided, which was finalized after the 3 rounds of negotiations in 1960. And this was the China claim at that moment. And now it has increased its claim, and this is the actual site of the clash which took place between Indian and Chinese troops on June 15. The Chinese army reached Galwan Valley, which the east of the bend called Wayanalla, which was the site of June 15 clash. So this was the actual site where the clash took place. So we can see that China has increased its claim. Also, China has recently increased its claim in Bhutan also. It said that there is one wildlife sanctuary, which is Sakteng Wildlife Sanctuary. So this wildlife sanctuary region, it was claimed by China, and initially the claim was not made, and now the China is claiming the region of Bhutan, which is the Sakteng Wildlife Sanctuary, and also one island in Japan, that is Senkaku Island, which is taken care of by Japan, although it don't have its full territorial claim on that, but it has no legal claim on Senkaku Island, but it administered the Senkaku Island, and this was also recently claimed by China. So we can see that China's aggressive policy is over here. We can see the China's aggressive policy, that it is claiming the region of a particular country. It has increased its claim that was made few years back. It was another point, and now it has extended its claim to the another level. So we can see over here the policy of China. So it needs to be stopped. There will be rounds of discussion between the two countries. Let's see what will be the result for that. Moving forward, let's see a question related to the news. Pangong Tso Lake border dispute is going on between which two countries? India and Bhutan, India and China, India and Nepal, India and Pakistan. So what will be the correct answer for this? Very easy. Pangong Lake was in news for a long time. India, Bhutan, India, China, India, Nepal, India, Pakistan. The correct answer is option B, that is India and China. Moving forward, Lionel Messi achieved the Golden Boot for a record 7th time in the Spanish football league La Liga, and this award was given to him for scoring the most goals in a single season. So Golden Boot is given to a football player who has scored the most goals in a particular season, and he scored a total of 25 goals in the league, 4 goals more than his close rival Karim Benzema. The Argentina star scored 25 goals in 33 matches. So therefore, he was given the Golden Boot, and he has achieved this Golden Boot for a record 7th time. He is a very good player, and the football lovers, these are huge fan of Lionel Messi. La Liga Football League, if you talk about this is a Campeonato Nacional de Liga Primera Division, commonly known as La Liga Football League. It is the men's top professional football division of the Spanish football league system, and this was founded in 1929. Now let's see a question related to the news. Many questions are asked from the sports section also in the exams like SSC, CGL, SSC, HSL. Recently, who has won the Golden Boot for the record 7th time in the Spanish football league La Liga? Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, Zinedine Zidane. So what will be the correct answer for this? So the correct answer will be option A, that is Lionel Messi. Moving forward to the next news, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, he recently visited Hagia Sophia. So this Hagia Sophia, this was in news because recently it was converted from a museum to a mosque, and now his visit comes just few days before the first historic namaz in the mosque. Ibrahim Kalin, a spokesman for Mr. Erdogan, he said that the goal behind doing so, that is converting this museum to a mosque, the decision was taken to avoid damaging the frescoes, icons and historical architecture of edifice. Hagia Sophia, this mosque is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so it is very important. A question can be asked related to the location, or any statement can be given that this mosque is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was first built as a cathedral during the Byzantine Empire in the 6th century, but later it was converted into a mosque after the Ottoman conquest of Constantinople in 1453. Then from a mosque it was converted in 1935 in a significant reform of Ottoman authorities under Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, the founder of the modern republic. So we can see the timeline over here that first in the 6th century it was built as a cathedral. Then after the Ottoman Turks in 1453 they captured the Constantinople. Then this cathedral was converted into mosque, and then later in 1953, in order to reform the Ottoman in the major reforms of Ottoman authorities in 1935, then it was again mosque was converted into museum, and now after so many years in 2020 we can see that it is again converted into mosque, and the reason being cited over here is to avoid damaging the frescoes, icons and historical architecture of this particular monument. So this was all about Hagia Sophia. And now let's see a question related to the news. In which country is the mosque Hagia Sophia located? Turkey, Iraq, Bahrain and Afghanistan. What will be the correct answer for this? The correct answer is option A, that is Turkey. Moving forward to the next news. Sangameshwaram temple submerged due to rising water level in Krishna River. Recently, the Sangameshwaram temple has been submerged due to rising water level in the Krishna River. As you can see in the figure, the temple has been submerged. The heavy rains in the catchment areas of the Krishna River resulted in a good inflow into the Priyadarshini Jurala project, or also called Jurala Dam in Gadwal, which directly go into the Sri Salam project. So the water from this project, this dam, it directly goes to the reservoir of Sri Salam, and for the first time this season, Sangameshwaram Shiva temple located in the backwaters of Sri Salam river reservoir, it began to submerge due to the water entering into the Sanctum Sanctorum. So Sanctum Sanctorum is the part where the deity is placed of a particular temple. The main deity is placed. So there the water has been entered. The submergence of the Sangameshwaram temple is an annual event. Talking about Krishna River, it is the fourth largest river in India in terms of water flow and river basin. The river originates from Mahabaleshwar in Maharashtra. It flows through Maharashtra, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and finally it falls into the Bay of Bengal. Ghatprabha, Malprabha, Tungabhadra, these are the major tributaries of Krishna River, and Sri Salam is situated on the same river, that is on Krishna River, on the border of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So this was all about Krishna River. Let's see a question. What is not true with respect to Krishna River? Kindly read the question carefully. That the question asks that which statement is not true. It is the fourth largest river in India in terms of water flow and river basin. It has its origin in the state of Karnataka. Ghatprabha, Malaprabha, Tungabhadra are its major tributaries, and Sri Salam is situated on the Krishna River on the borders of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So what will be the correct answer for this? Quickly comment. The correct answer is option B, that is this statement is not true because its origin is not in the state of Karnataka but in Maharashtra. The river originates from Mahabaleshwar in Maharashtra. So friends, here we have covered the daily current affairs and related questions. I hope you like this session and you are daily following it. Please like it, share it as much as you can. If you have any doubt, then mention that in comment box. Keep preparing with us. All the best. Thank you so much.